The world is on the brink of disaster. First it was the Greenland crisis, then the capture of Nicolas Maduro, and the civil war in Sudan has claimed over 150,000 lives. And now with the recent conflict in Iran, the talks of World War III are getting louder every single day. War is always terrible, no matter if it costs one life or hundreds of thousands. But while the media is panicking and the stock market is falling, we have to ask the question, what are you supposed to do now? Protect your life savings and sell everything while you still can before the crash of the global financial system, or bet on the fact that every major conflict in history has eventually been a massive buying opportunity when the news turns into just another chapter in the history books. Let's look at the current situation 100% rationally to find out exactly what to do with your money right now. We are recording this video on March 19, 2026. The situation in the Middle East and globally is moving fast. And in times like these, it is incredibly difficult to know which information is 100% true. Our goal today is not to take sides or predict geopolitical outcomes. We are here to look at one thing only, the financial impact on your life, and how to stay rational when the world feels anything but. I invite you to share your thoughts and perspectives in the comments, but let's keep the discussion respectful and focused on our shared goal of financial security. Thank you. The relationship between Iran and the US wasn't always like this. In the early 1900s, they were actually close partners. Until the first turning point in 1953, when the US and UK helped orchestrate a coup to overthrow Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, after he nationalized the country's oil industry. For the next 25 years, the US was the Shah's, the Iranian king's, closest ally, until the 1979 Islamic Revolution changed everything. The Shah was ousted, the Islamic Republic was formed, and the third piece of the puzzle stepped into the picture, Israel. Why Israel? Because the new Iranian regime needed an external enemy to unite the population and distract from internal political and economic struggles. So they grounded their identity on anti-Americanism and anti-Zionism, calling the US Great Satan and Israel Little Satan. Since then, a shadow war has been fought across the Middle East with proxy conflicts in Lebanon, Syria, and in Yemen. Why am I telling you this? Because for 70 years this conflict has been a part of the global landscape. What changed with the recent escalation is that for the first time the old rules of engagement seem to be gone. And that's why the media is screaming World War III. Donald Trump stated in early January that he wants to help the Iranian people after reports surfaced that the regime killed over 30,000 peaceful protesters. Many doubt that this might be his real intentions, and there are a lot of reasons to think so, but this is not the question here. There were early successes, so to say, as the supreme leader was killed in a strike as precise as the capture of Nicolas Maduro. But Iran is not Venezuela. They struck back and blocked the Strait of Hormuz. This is a narrow passage between Iran and the United Arab Emirates, which is only 33 kilometers wide, but it is the jugular vein of the global economy. Over 20% of the world's oil and 25% of natural gas pass through here every single day. And this led to the largest supply disruption in history, and oil prices have spiked to over 100% per barrel. This means massive inflation for everything, from the gas in your car to the food on your table. 15% of global aviation is disrupted as airlines are forced to take massive detours. And shipping companies avoid the region entirely, adding weeks to delivery times and multiplying freight costs. Even global food security is at risk, because raw materials like sulfur for fertilizers are trapped in the blockade. Economists from the IFO Institute are already warning that this could push Germany's inflation back to 2.5% this year. This is no longer a bilateral fight. This is a global escalation. Iranian missiles have struck infrastructure in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. China is supplying Iran with drones, Russia is providing intelligence, and even Europe is now in the line of fire. A British base in Cyprus and an Italian base in Iraq was attacked by Iranian drones. That's why the UK, France and Greece already deployed troops and warships. And if that wasn't enough, let's add the nuclear dimension. Iran has apparently reached nearly 84% uranium enrichment, meaning they could be days away from being a nuclear power. All of this has created a multi-front war that threatens the entire global security. Because the impact isn't just local anymore, it's hitting everyone directly in their wallets. And when the world is under so much pressure, the question isn't whether the situation is bad. The question is it sell everything bad? If we turn off the emotions and look at the facts, there are valid reasons to sell. If you are overinvested in single stocks or sectors that are suffering from high energy costs, like the chemical or automotive industries, then rebalancing makes sense. And in a global crisis, debt-heavy companies are usually the first to suffer. Even your safe dividend stocks carry a risk, because when profits drop, dividends get cut. Let's remember the pandemic, in which a total of 220 billion in dividends were cut. And when dividends vanish, stock prices often crash even harder. Selling to protect your capital can be valid if you have a plan. Big if. Because history teaches us that the stock market has a 100% success rate of recovering from crises. The Great Depression of 1929, the dot-com bubble in 2000, the 2008 financial crisis, COVID in 2020, every single time it felt like the end of the world. And every single time, the market went on to reach brand new records. The arguably greatest investor in human history, Warren Buffett, famously said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." He knows that while the headlines are screaming about World War III, the best assets in the world are for sale. For a long-term investor, a crashing stock market or real estate market isn't a disaster. It's a gift. I know you all want to sell right before the next crash and then buy right at the bottom again, but that's just not the reality. Look at this statistic from JP Morgan. If you miss the 10 best days over a 20-year period, your return is cut in half. Because of 10 days out of over 7,000 days. So instead of panic selling and missing the inevitable recovery, use the power of cost average effect and keep your monthly Sparplan running, no matter what. Because waiting is not the solution either if you factor in the hidden costs of doing nothing. With German inflation projected to be 2.5%, holding cash is just a guaranteed loss because your money in the bank is losing value every single day. A globally diversified portfolio, on the other hand, is the real protection against currency devaluation. This way your portfolio will withstand the test of time, because we know the next crisis will come and then nobody will care about Iran anymore. Or when did you hear the last time about Ukraine? 4 years ago it was all anyone could talk about. Today it's just another chapter in the history books. And the same will happen with the current escalation. If you are unsure whether your current portfolio can survive this test, let's look at it together. You can book a free strategy session with us right here to make sure you are well positioned for both protection and growth. Thank you for watching und bis zum nächsten Mal.